Good morning, everyone. It's May 19th, 2019. I'm Eric. This video is going to be a little bit different. No article. I've done videos on this topic before, but since then I've gotten new subscribers, and the video got deleted with my old channel anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and do it again, and it is regarding the pen and the sword. The pen and the sword. The pen being politicians, legislatures, all that. Sword being law enforcement and the military. So, the pen cannot exist without the sword. It is a symbiotic relationship. And the sword cannot exist with any legitimacy without the pen. Each of these groups are dependent on the other. So, the sword, or the pen is there to tell you what you can do, what you can and cannot do, what you may and may not put in your bodies, and basically the pen is there to make your decisions for you. And the sword is there to make sure you do what you're told. And when you're not, well then, you are kidnapped, caged, sometimes assaulted, sometimes murdered. But if the pen did not have the sword, it could not exist. There would be no way for these individuals to enforce their will against the people. And this is why I focus very heavily on law enforcement in particular, because without the law enforcement industrial complex, the pen is nothing more than an inanimate object. It has no bite. It has no power. So, in order to undermine the pen, we must get rid of the sword. It is the sword or the group, the group that represents the sword, or groups, that will be the ones responsible for implementing things like martial law, gun confiscation, and dragging your asses to internment and resettlement camps. Without these guys, none of this could happen. Without these guys, the politicians would not be able to confiscate your guns. Without the sword, the IRS wouldn't be able to arrest you for not paying taxes. Without the sword, there would be no taxes. In many ways, the sword is much, much, much more important than the pen, simply because they are where the rubber meets the road. And we can make the pen obsolete in one swift action by removing law enforcement from the game board. Without these guys, they wouldn't be able to do a lot of the stuff they're getting ready to do. Without the help of National Guard, among others, who represent the sword, like the United Nations ground forces. Without the sword, the political pen is weak. And this is why it's a symbiotic relationship. Now, on the flip side, without the pen, these groups of people would be seen as nothing more than organized gangs. They would not be recognized as law enforcement without the pen. They would be just like any other street gang in your city. Vice lords, Latin kings, gangster disciples, Bloods, Crips, maniac four-corner hustlers, and so on and so forth. That's all they would be. These groups derive their authority out of thin air, just like we derive our money out of thin air. They actually have no right to rule over us. This is imagined. People imagine they have that right. People believe they have this right to rule over us, but it's nothing more than another empty belief. A belief which no one has any idea where it comes from. So, if you want to disrupt the pen, you want to weaken the pen to the point where they are ineffective, to the point where they're obsolete, then their enforcement branch, the sword, must be dealt with. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm wrong. You know I'm not. You know I'm not wrong. But for some reason, even though each and every day I present to you, the viewer, different instances of your heroes committing the most heinous and despicable crimes you can think of. But still, they remain your heroes. And this is one of our biggest hindrances as a society. So, the pen and the sword cannot exist without each other. They can't. They go hand in hand, like peanut butter and chocolate, like cereal and milk, like eggs and bacon, hand in hand. So, It is people's belief in authority in the first place, and their willingness to blindly obey this authority, that blinds them to the realities that we live in. And the reality is, the people you call heroes are nothing more than state-sanctioned street gangs, extorting, robbing, murdering, raping, molesting, defrauding, and so on and so forth, the public. This authority actually does not exist. It never has existed, and it is simply based on belief. And that's it. They have no more authority to tell you what to do than I do. And they have no more authority than you do to tell me what to do. And yet here we are, working our asses off, a lot of us, to pay taxes just to be told what to do by these fucking pigs, by these tyrants. And it's all because of belief. Anyway, remember, the pen cannot exist without the sword. And the sword is where the rubber meets the road. If you like my content, please do subscribe, share, thumbs up. I have PayPal and Discord links below. Till next time, kill the pen before the sword kills you.